Around the first of the year, our board received notice from our long-term county administrative officer, Susan Moriello, that she would be retiring. And the board moved into action and worked to identify some recruiting agencies to look nationwide to see who would replace our long-term CAO. We felt it was important to look nationwide to make sure that in this transition that we were getting the best person possible. And we wanted to look beyond Santa Cruz County to ensure that we found the best person possible. We hired a recruiting firm, Peckham and Associates, and with a lot of help from our Director of Personnel, Mike McDougall, we met with county department directors, individual members of the Board of Supervisors, and labor leaders to find out what it is we wanted to say about what we wanted here at Santa Cruz County. The good news is that after she talked to all these different folks, she found that we all wanted sort of the same thing. We wanted a great leader who was going to be able to harness the creativity and power of our staff to create a strategic vision for what it is we want to have done for the county, and to develop a system that we can actually evaluate whether we're moving forward in that success. And so we put out a recruitment notice. We received 25 applications. The board had a chance to review all 25. We selected 6 to interview. We also assembled a technical panel that included several department directors, our county counsel, our former department director, and 2 CAOs from similar size counties in Marin and San Mateo to help us review the technical aspects of the job. But the entire board interviewed all 6 candidates. We had several of them come back the second day, but at the end, our board made a unanimous and enthusiastic decision to hire someone we know well, Carlos Palacios. Carlos has many years working in Santa Cruz County, nearly 20 years as the city manager of the city of Watsonville, and I guess we would say 2 years here at the County of Santa Cruz as Assistant County Administrative Officer. During that time, he has overseen the development of our Economic Development Office, our Cannabis Licensing Office, and has played a major role in the Monterey Bay Community Power Project, along with many other things. So the choice for us, after talking to many qualified and competent administrators from around the country, we chose Carlos because of his long record of service here to our community, but more importantly, his outlook on the management tools that we could use to support our staff and to get the most out of them, the vision of strategic planning and budgeting process that will help us lead us into this new era, and his commitment to reviewing all aspects of county government to make sure we're doing the best we can with what we have. And it was a great interview, and it was great for our Board of Supervisors to be able to talk, the 5 of us to be able to talk about these issues with our successful candidate. And then, as I said, in the end, we made a unanimous decision. So we'll do the swearing in just a moment, but I thought I'd turn to my colleagues to see if they had anything that they wanted to add. Supervisor Coonerty.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out today. This is, and I've been aware of this since January, this is the most important decision that I'll make on the Board of Supervisors. It's remarkable when you think about it, considering this week alone we'll budget $717 million. Over the course of the years, we'll make important decisions about water projects or public safety or land use projects in the county. But this is a decision that will probably last beyond many of our tenures up here, and is about how we run our organization on a day-to-day level. We took it so seriously that in addition to all that, Supervisor Friend and I drove around the state for the last 6 months, visiting counties, interviewing CAOs and county supervisors about how they run their counties, how they make decisions, how they invest in their workforce, how they do strategic planning, how they do performance management. And in doing so, we got a good sense of both what a strong and excellent organization we already are, thanks to the leadership of Susan Moriello, but also the areas where we can learn from others and the sorts of things we want to do specifically around strategic planning and workforce investment and performance management. In the interview, the thing that struck me the most, and I went in ready to hear from these candidates from across the country and see what they could offer our county, when Carlos went through his education experience, his work experience, his community experience, he closed it by looking at us and saying, I've been preparing for this job my entire life, and I'm ready to go. And I think that was the moment that I felt sure, and I think my colleagues as well, that we had an excellent opportunity to hire somebody who understood this community, who has a breadth of experience, and who's is going to be able to take the strengths of the organization and really amplify them. So I'm excited that we got to this point today. I want to thank everybody in the process who got us, went through the various steps that Supervisor Leopold outlined, and just say how excited I am to be working with Carlos, and the fact that Carlos has made clear his commitment to working with everybody in the family, in the county family, and in our larger community to improve the lives for people in Santa Cruz County.
Supervisor Friend.
Thank you, Chair, and it was wonderful to see so many people that are here today to participate in this process. As Supervisor Coonerty mentioned, not only did we travel around the state, but I traveled around the community and met with a lot of neighborhood organizations, the other city councils in our area, a lot of department heads and employees here to ask about, well, tell me about what you would like to see as a leader for Santa Cruz County. And we heard some of the same things. I heard some of the same things over and over and over again. What was interesting, too, is unsolicited, almost every single organization, every single group, and every single employee group, and every single department in here said, but can you just hire Carlos? Do you have to do this process? And that was not with us asking, what do you think of Carlos? That was an unsolicited thing. And it's interesting, and the amount of sort of grassroots interest and energy in having him be the leader was pretty remarkable. It was very organic how it came up. But the county is finally shattering a necessary glass ceiling as far as hiring Mr. Palacios as well. It's about time that we had a leader in that position that does reflect some of the diversity of our community, as well as the first Latino CAO in the county's history, and if I'm not mistaken, just the third right now in the state, coupled with we have the current longest serving CAO currently with Ms. Moriello. And let me say something. It was Ms. Moriello's tenure and stability that led to these applicants across the country. They could not believe how stable the organization was, because I don't know if you can appreciate the fact of how much turnover there normally is in the top position across the state. The average tenure is less than 7 years for this position. So when they heard of somebody serving nearly 30 years just in that one role, it made this a very attractive place, and it said a lot about all of you as a community and all of you as employees. But when all is said and done, it really wasn't that close. I think the entire board, I can say, speaking on behalf of the board here, the board came in with an open mind and prepared to interview everybody equally. But there was just one person that stood out well and beyond, and to imagine that person was here within our county and been raised within this county says a lot about the succession planning and the work here that this county has done, not just as our organization, but the city of Watsonville. So you all should be immensely proud about this hire and what it means that to have one of our own actually ascend to this position, this leadership role. We're very excited to work with you, Carlos. You've got some large shoes to fill, but we also have a unique and remarkable opportunity. You've got the backing of an entire county staff and community saying, let's lead us into this next phase together. The board's excited to do it with you. The community's excited to do it with you. And it really wasn't close. You were by far the best person for this job right now. Congratulations.
Supervisor McPherson.
Yeah, I'll say ditto to everything that's been said. And just to say that I hope you are here for more than 7 years to begin with. But, and I think you will be. It really wasn't a close call. Your outlook and your foresight about strategic planning and performance management and how we're going to measure the goals that we want to reach, and we have plenty of them out there. And you have a very tremendous support group, too, with the people that are in this room and the 2,400 employees that are in Santa Cruz County government. You've worked for this. You've earned it. And I'm just really a proud county supervisor to say that I helped hire Carlos Palacios as the new CAO of Santa Cruz County. We have some real tough measurements to reach with the uncertainties we have in state and particularly federal government now. And that was what I was impressive with. You knew that we have these things ahead of us, and there's some uncertainty out there. But if we lay our groundwork for our plan, we're going to do just fine, and we're going to do very well with you at the head of the helm. So welcome as our new CAO. It's a pleasure to have supported you.
Supervisor Caput.
Thank you. I look at it differently. The competition was very, they were very qualified. They were very strong candidates. You were the best of a very good group when we went down to the final decision. You had the resume, you did the interviews, and we know you, and you know the county. So you did have strong competition, and you stood out. I want to thank Susan Moriello for more than 25 to 30 years of service. I want to thank you for your dedication, and thank you for getting us through good times and bad times in these years. And I consider you a friend, and I want to wish you the best in retirement, and God bless you.
Thank you.
And Carlos, we're looking forward now to take us forward and get us through a transition here. And I have all the confidence in the world in you. And we'll see you at church on Sunday. All right, thanks.
Well, now I'm going to come off the dais so we can give the oath of office.